part of the struggle here, obviously, is essentially there is a possibility for the demonization of cryptocurrency for bypassing sanctions. And this is where you have to really separate emotions surrounding the subject and your principles surrounding the subject. Because if you believe that Bitcoin will empower the individual to have financial autonomy at some point in the future, then you can basically re-guide yourself from that emotional reaction of what's going on in Ukraine, for example, and say, in the long run, I would support the decentralization of Bitcoin. And I think that that will essentially be that Trojan horse that takes care of this in the future. Fix the money, fix the world. Now, where people are basically getting too emotional and getting too involved with their opinions specifically on, and you guys need to be clear here, on the invasion of Ukraine from Russia, not a good thing. I think we can all get on board with that for the most part. There may be some outliers. If you have a reason why you think it's good, that's your opinion. You can voice that. But that doesn't mean that we ignore the guiding principles of cryptocurrency to essentially enact something that we feel we could do on an emotional level to be like, no, and try to slap Russia's hand. Case in point, let's go ahead and talk about Flexpool. And this was a tweet that came out earlier, and I talked about it on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at @SonOfATech. And basically, I'll get you guys what I said. So that way, you guys are on the same page with me, and then we can go from there. So basically, Flexpool said Flexpool.io is halting all service to Russia. And I said, eek, I don't support this move and will be migrating off the pool. 1, people of Russia doesn't equal the government. 2, crypto is for the people, not the government. That's a very basic rule. And then I did follow that up saying it also shows you don't respect decentralization. I could go on, but we'll save it for the morning show. We have been elaborating on that pretty far here. Now, this has already made the news now. It's been posted on Reddit. So you can go to this link. It's down in the description below. You can go to the Reddit and you can have your discussions there. And then it is now being covered by CoinDesk. I am curious what the opinion of CoinDesk is. So we're going to go ahead and read through it. And then we're going to go ahead and discuss whether this is a good move or a bad move. Ethereum mining pool Flexpool halts all services to Russia in wake of Ukraine invasion. The pool is possibly the first of its kind to cut services to Russian users. Flexpool, the world's 5th largest Ethereum mining pool, became possibly the first of its ilk to cut services to Russia users following the country's invasion of Ukraine. The move was taken to show solidarity with Ukraine. And then, quote, we generally do not get involved in politics despite our personal views as a company, end quote, a Flexpool spokesperson said in a message on Thursday evening in its official Telegram channel. Quote, however, this is greater than politics, greater than anyone. This is a war that may end the world. It certainly is ending the lives of many innocent people in Eastern Europe. It's also being protested by individuals within Russia. Okay, you need to keep that in mind. That is a key point here. So all you're really doing is giving the government, the Russian government, more centralized control over its people by taking away decentralized finance options. That's what you're doing. Okay, let's make that very clear before you get all high and mighty on this horse. The pool doesn't want to profit off the crisis or fund it indirectly, so it's canceling all services to Russian IP addresses and paying outstanding balances to affected users, the message said, which apologized to Russian miners. Now, one of the arguments here is that some of the mining services would be going through Russian hosted servers that in turn could give some sort of funding to the Russian government. And I could see that point, but you could also just you could host, like literally you could host in an adjacent country that still has good ping, be paying a different country, and still allow Russian miners to go ahead and mine to those servers. And therefore you're not actually sending any of your payment directly from Flexpool to Russia. All right. That's what you could do. You could also utilize Web3 and decentralized infrastructure like Flux to go ahead and migrate into a manner that would also just get rid of this whole issue in the first place. Flexpool is the world's 5th biggest other mining pool, according to information platform miningpoolstats.com. It is probably the first to cut access for Russians amid the security crisis. Hivon, the second largest pool, posted a message of solidarity to Ukraine. Its account saying it's impossible to stay away from the violence in Ukraine, but didn't announce any action. Reddit users have pointed out that miners can use efficient VPNs to bypass Flexpool's restrictions. And yeah, I mean, that's definitely like a point, but that's not the point. That's not the problem here that we have, right? The problem that we have here is, does that align with the guiding principles of Bitcoin, which is a peer-to-peer cashless system that basically empowers the individual with a financial autonomy? And if that's the case, then that should be applied blanket across the board. Once you start painting people broadly with a brush, that's when you end up with great distress within geopolitical situations. Anytime we've seen anything from World War I to World War II is a great example, where essentially all these sanctions and things went into place in Germany that essentially radicalized the people because we broadly painted a brush over the German people and kind of said they're all bad. Then you radicalize all of those people. So if you broadly paint a brush, all those people that are currently protesting in Russia against the war, you now cut them out and they say, okay, well, we were trying to do the right thing, but clearly the rest of the world doesn't give a crap about us, and they're shutting off all of our access. That's when you radicalize people and things get worse. Things do not get better when you broadly paint a brush over people. That is racism. That is discrimination as a whole, period, right? And that is not going to be okay. You cannot broadly discriminate against the people based on race, religion, ideology, or geographical location. That is where I stand as far as that goes. And so I do have up some reading material for you guys that I want to remind everybody of. We're going to talk about it all the time. We have the Bitcoin white paper here. Please read it. We have another one that really precursors this from the 90s. That is the Cypherpunks Manifesto by Eric Hughes, March 9th, 1993. This is a very important one. We have covered both of these on the channel numerous times. But if you are not aware of where this stands and where it comes from, you need to make yourself aware. And the reason you need to make yourself aware is because if you do not agree with these things, then you need to question whether or not you should participate within cryptocurrency. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Morning Show every Monday through Friday, 7:45 a.m. Pacific and 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time. You can check out more clips here, or if you're interested in checking out the entire live show, you can check that out down here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday.